What is up, Jamily? This is JamiroFan 2000 here with another episode of JamiroFan Talks About, where I discuss the past, present, and future of the music of Jamiroquai and their discography from the last 25 years and counting. And one of the biggest, at least one of the biggest mysteries of Jamiroquai's discography, at least for us all hardcore fans, was most recently just solved. I'll give you a little bit of context. Back in 1994, when Jamiroquai was recording their second album, kind of the secondary album to Emergency on Planet Earth, called Return of the Space Cowboy, Jamiroquai was relying on three separate bassists for the recording of this album, specifically on the title track Space Cowboy. There was, of course, Stuart Zender, who was a founding member of the band. There was Andrew Levy, who was originally the bassist for the other acid jazz funk group called the Brand New Heavies, and there was a mysteriously credited bassist on the liner notes for Return to Space Cowboy under the name of Mr. X. Okay, like the letter X. And for 20 years, several Jamiroquai fans have been asking band members on who the heck Mr. X was. And Mr. X was credited of having performed the bass work on the track Space Cowboy, which was the leading single for Return of the Space Cowboy. But it is noted that Stuart Zender did write the bass line for that song. But we did get an answer, as I preface this video, on who Mr. X exactly was. A fellow Jamiroquai fan by the name of Nick, who has been around in the Jamily for a very long time, was on a bass forum talking with several fans about this recurring question that has been plaguing him for over 20 years now. But of course, Jamiroquai bassist and bass master Stuart Zender was a member of that forum and did come on and finally answered the question on who Mr. X was from the Return of the Space Cowboy album. And of course, he said it ended up being bassist Paul Powell, who was Mr. X, who performed the original album version of Space Cowboy on Jamiroquai's second album, Return of the Space Cowboy. And as I noted, Stuart did note that the original bass line for Space Cowboy was, of course, written by himself. Apparently, when Paul was recording his bass work was when Stuart was on holiday, so unless JK was unhappy with Stuart's performance of the bass work on Space Cowboy, they ended up going with Paul Powell, and then in the end they ended up just calling him Mr. X in the liner notes of the Return of the Space Cowboy album when it came out. So we got a mystery solved. So I'd like to send a big thank you to my friend Nick from Facebook, and of course to Jamiroquai's former bassist Stuart Zender for finally answering one of these reoccurring mysteries of the Jamiroquai discography that just asked to be answered. So anyway, I just thought I recorded JamiroFan Talks About to discuss this mystery having been solved most recently from over on Facebook and several other forums. And as always, this is JamiroFan 2000. I'll see you again really soon with another JamiroFan Talks About, another Jamiroquai Minute, and more Jamiroquai related videos here on the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel. Bye everybody and have a great day.